Hey, I'm a mechanical engineer, and this is my wood necktie. Several years ago, I saw wooden neckties being advertised and sold online, and though I remember thinking it was super cool, for whatever reason I never bought one. Well, recently I started thinking about them again and really wanting one, but I thought instead of trying to hunt one down and buy it, why don't we just build our own? Which brings us to today's video, so without any further ado, let's get started on how to build your own wooden necktie. The first thing we're going to want to do is find a board that's long enough to become our necktie. I'll be using this scrap 17-inch long oak board I found that should work beautifully. So with our board now picked out, we're going to want to sketch the outline of our tie onto it. With the outline now drawn, we can take it to the table saw and cut it out. And while we're at it, we might as well shave it down to about 3/8 of an inch thick. I like that a lot. The tie is nice and thin and it's not too thick. Now I'm going to go ahead and give everything a solid sanding, particularly smoothing out these corners so that we'll be left with no rough edges. Ooh, that is smoother than a hairless Wookiee. With our tie now cut out and sanded smooth, we're going to want to draw a few marks on it. We're first going to want to draw several horizontal lines every 1.5 inches down the tie. Then draw 2 vertical lines as far apart as we can get them, going straight down the tie. Perfect. Now don't worry about these vertical lines just yet, we'll explain those later. But as for the other, we're going to want to take this tie to the miter saw and cut along the horizontal lines. You're going to want to use the thinnest blade you have, but if you don't have that thin of a blade, don't worry about it, I'll show you a workaround in a minute. Awesome. Now before we do anything else, let's go ahead and number these in order so that when I knock them over, I won't have a panic attack. Now if you remember earlier, which you should because it was like 4 seconds ago, I said you want to cut this out with the thinnest blade you had. That's because you want these joints to meet up as flushly as possible. But if you didn't have that thin of a blade and these joints are now a little bit rough, all we have to do is take some sandpaper and lightly sand the top corners. That way it'll round the corners just a little bit and help all the pieces transition just a little bit better. Now before we move on, we need to cut out one last piece for the tie, and that is of course the knot. The knot does not have to be very complicated. If you want, you can just cut out a square or do like me and cut out an actual knot shape. Either way is fine. We just want to be close to 2 inches square, ideally taller than it is wide, and about 1/2 inch thick. That way it'll be just a little bit thicker than our actual tie. So with all of our pieces now cut out, we're going to want to take them over to the router table and cut out a slight bevel at the back side of each joint. Just like this. This way, after we add in the strings, the tie will still be able to fold in backwards, making it seem a lot more natural when you wear it. Now comes the fun, slightly monotonous part. We're going to want to take a 3/16 drill bit and drill 2 parallel holes all the way through the tie. Well, not all the way through, we want to stop right before we drill through the ends. To do this, I'm just going to use my dowel pin jig. We'll just slide each piece into the jig, lining it up with the line. Oh hey, you remember towards the beginning of the video we drew those 2 vertical lines? Well, this is what they're for. Then clamp it down and drill right through it. Now after we finish that, I'm going to drill an angled hole into each side of the knot that line up with the previous holes. That will help us tie it once everything's done. But enough talk, let's get to drilling. That is absolutely perfect. Now we just have to give everything one solid last sanding, then we can stain it. For stain, I'll be using Midwax's Early American 230 because I think it'll look really cool. Now once we've given these a chance to dry, I'm going to go ahead and put on a finishing coat of polyacrylic. Oh, that is nice. And with that, it is now finally time to put everything together. We're going to want to take a 7-foot long piece of paracord and run it through the holes in the tie block, starting at the top of the tie and ending at the bottom. Just like this. We'll then insert the ends of the rope into the last tie block, gluing them in place. There are of course a lot of different glues that would work great for this, but I'm just going to be using good old-fashioned Tap-On 2. I don't know where the smaller container is. Perfect. Now all that's left to do is to slide a cord lock onto the center of our paracord. And with that, our tie is complete and ready to be worn. So how you wear the tie is you'll just slip it onto your neck, twist the back of the rope, and bring it right back over. We'll then send the cord underneath the tie and pull it until the tie becomes tight. After that, just adjust the cord lock to stop the tie from coming back down. Now we just have to tuck the tail of the cord into our shirt and bring down our collar. With that, your tie is on and you're good to go. And so there you have it, how to build your own wooden necktie. But hey, thank you so much for you guys watching. I hope you did enjoy this video, and if you did, please feel free to hit the thumbs up and subscribe. And Lord willing, I'll see you next time.
Thanks for watching, and please feel free to subscribe.